Yeah,
All right,
I just keep
hello
it steady on
everybody.
the
Welcome
magic.
back to
Do
the
my thing, I'm
Uprooted
healing, it's
podcast.
fantastic.
Yeah, we're gonna just have
If I
some
fall,
good
rise
conversation
automatic.
about some good
You ain't
topics
on
with some
that, you
good people.
know. I'm the one raise myself like a tree from the roots. West side girl, cause she lit in the coast. East side girl when she speaks to the roots. Stay 100 cause she on with the truth. Been there on struggle, know that it pass. Only going up, yeah, the pain don't last. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. This is take off, take off, take off. Shorty like Brandy, fight like Monica. What you know about her? Baby girl rising, way to the top. Shaking the world, don't expect her to stop. Purpose so great, she get what she got. Follow her step, cause she following God. What you need more, got a heart full of gold. Even at times when it's raining and cold. Ooh, she bout take off.
Hey, it's your girl Hannah, aka Ruta. Welcome back to the Uprooted podcast. I know I've taken a few weeks off. The way your girl's life is set up, I needed that break. So thank y'all for sticking with your girl. I'm back with another episode of Black Women Wednesdays. And I have a beautiful pair of sisters joining me. Well, not actual sisters, but a double dose of Mary and Mary coming all the way from London. Yay, I see y'all in the chat. So excited to have y'all join, and it's gonna be lit. I don't know, my internet acting up, but hopefully this goes well. Let me go ahead and have y'all join in just a second here. Let me see. Let me go ahead and throw that request in. But yeah, how y'all feeling? How y'all doing? How's your guys' life? Yeah, I hope y'all are doing well. I had to take the last 2 weeks off. I don't know how you guys have been feeling, but it's been nuts. The war on Tigray is just more and more stuff coming out every day. It's been exhausting. So I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. But yeah, we're gonna get this thing started. Oh, I see the request. Hey, Hannah. You know I love somebody who got my same name. Yay!
Hi, how are you? You know what we was trying to
Hi,
do?
ladies. Uh-oh.
We was trying to join on my laptop. Is that possible? Oh.
Good. I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but it's like lagging. Oh, okay. I was like, wait,
It might
are
be
you
us
guys
then. It might be
are you
us.
in a car? Oh, we have to.
Yeah,
The dedication. I
it
love
was
it.
like, because nothing would be open now, isn't it? Especially with lockdown. So it's like, yeah, might as well just do my car.
Oh my God, you guys are too cute.
Yeah. But can you see us okay? Is it good?
It's a little blurry, but I can see you and I can hear you, so I will take a win, you know? Oh man. Okay. No, you guys are good. Who's oh Delina? She said missed you, girl. I missed y'all. I honestly didn't think I'd miss this whole like let me do lives thing, but it's fun. I feel like we're doing okay. They say your camera quality is bad. Sis, they are in a car. They are in the car. So we have Mary and Mary. First of all, like,
Yeah, so how are we going to identify ourselves?
yes.
Mary M.
M2.
Oh,
The double M.
you know, this
Oh my
happened to me when
God.
I was younger. There was
Mary and
somebody that had
Mary.
the exact same first name and last name, and we're both Mary M.
Oh, we on it. How does that work for your guys' meetings?
We've got different screen names,
Yeah.
haven't we?
Do you know what? I do? I'll be like, she's Instagram Mary, and then I'm merch Mary. So that's how I tell people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so your Instagram Mary. So Instagram Mary is on the right. No. Instagram Mary is on the left.
Left.
Merch Mary is on the right. Okay,
Yeah.
audience. I hope you guys have caught that. We will try to we'll try to keep that together in our mind. Yeah, the fun story for the rest of the people, how we all met. For the people who are not aware, there is an ongoing war and crisis in Tigray. I met Merch Mary through, yes, um, through Instagram, and you had, it wasn't even merch yet. You have a podcast yourself, right?
Yeah.
New Gen podcast.
Mhm.
Um, and you reached out, you asked if I could be on an episode, and I was just like, yeah, sure. And in my mind, I thought you were a lot older. And then so I remember when you told me your age, I was like, sis, yes, yes. I was like, wow, I wish I had the guts at your age to do it. At my big age, I'm barely pulling it together, but
No, what?
you got it. You got it. I was so proud. And then Instagram Mary has been holding down TYN. So just to give people a little bit of backstory. So why don't y'all introduce yourselves properly instead of me just giving my little anecdotes. Um, Whoever wants to go first, kind of like a little bit about yourself to the audience joining in. This is a double dose of Mary today, Mary squared, Black Women Wednesdays, coming from the UK, London, and yes, they are in the car, so please do not comment about the visuals. Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'll go first then.
Mm-hmm.
So my name is Mary. I'm Mary Mulligan. It's a difference too. Yeah, I'm 19. Like you said, I'm pretty. Sorry, pretty young. But yeah. So how I met Hannah was that I've been watching your podcast from before. I was like, yeah, she'll be so good to have on. I was like, let me ask her because she's already good at what she's doing. I was like, you can show me the ropes. But yeah, I reached out to her about doing an episode and what was going on. This was like early, like basically, I think it was like
No.
a week or two before after it started.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just telling you, and we spoke that one time. You just took the words out of my mouth, like everything I wanted to do. She was like, yeah, you can do this, do this, do this. I was like, yeah, but it's been lockdown here, so we've had protests, so we've been doing that, but then I got myself into the virtual protest,
Mm-hmm.
which was where we had Samuel, Martin Platt, people like that. So I was in that, and what else? Oh, I'm also a university student. I like to forget that these days,
Yes,
but
I'm like, hello, you guys are still students.
yeah, literally. Um, and what else can I say about myself?
You have a merch line,
Oh yeah,
fundraising.
that's the merchandise. So like, well, I'm literally wearing it now. If you guys can
Okay,
see it,
go ahead, rep your stuff.
I got the "To Great a Day" meaning
Okay.
the
Anybody in
mask.
the UK, our Europe
Shout me
fam?
anywhere. We got you.
Yes,
We have
please.
this. I have this.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Prepared. You are prepared.
Literally, I try to step out now with at least one thing, just so you know where I'm from. You know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll try to come with the hat or the mask or whatever. I mean, you might get a few dirty looks, but
Yes.
yeah.
I didn't realize, I forgot the other day I have my mask that has the Tigray flag on it. And I don't even know where I was walking, and someone kind of looked at me, and I did the head nod, the salam or whatever, because
Yeah,
it's just instinctual. And
yeah.
like she kind of just looked at me crazy. I said, oh, oh, okay. And then I just kept walking. I was like, people are crazy.
And I don't even know how to act now because of like all the stuff that you hear. You're like, I feel awkward now, and whereas before you wouldn't even think about it. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's how
we're living in crazy times, but I'm beyond proud of you because you got too much energy. Like I don't have half. I don't know if for those who are just catching in, um, you're a university student. You are a very active participant in this fight for Tigray and running the merch line. So you're plenty busy. And then we have the other Mary, if you want to pop your head over and introduce yourself. Hi, Hafte.
Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, so as Mary said, I run the Instagram page, which is pretty full on because you read all of the headlines and like you're you know, you're aware of everything that's going on. You have to read everything and screen everything before you post it and share, because you don't want to be like, you know, the spreader of misinformation, or you know, anything too graphic or, you know, unappealing to people outside of our community, if you know what I mean. So just trying to keep it PC and do integrate justice.
And you're a college student too?
No, I work, so that's
Okay.
been really difficult, trying to keep to a 9 to 5 and then like being as active as we can.
It's exhausting, sis. I'm tired.
It really is.
I am tired. So can you guys, for the audience who might not know, explain to them like what TYN is, like Tigray Youth Network, and kind of how you guys started? Like what's the story? Give us the scoop.
So it was originally that, like a network for like young Tigrayans to get together, sort of like replicate the culture that their parents had, you know, growing up. Like you'd always have a big community around you. So it was just kind of connecting all of like the younger generation. And then like fast forward a couple of months, the war happened, and like it kind of just focused all of us. And, you know, we just wanted to be like a voice for the voiceless, really.
Yeah. And you guys had started, right, a little bit before the war? Like you guys were already trying to pull that together?
Yeah. Which was
That's
kind of difficult because it changed the kind of landscape of what we were doing. Originally, it was just literally to, you know, kick back, chill, meet up with your friends. And then it kind of got all heavy and serious.
that sucks. I mean, I know because the same thing with TPN, so the Takata Professional Network, which is like parallel, I would say, to like what you guys are in the UK. Yeah, it was like the same concept, and so I feel like everybody's life got rerouted for them, and like, oh, that's cute. You guys were planning fun events. Hey, never mind. Like, you gotta sit here and talk about war for the next couple months. Um, while you're also a victim and like trying to keep your mental sanity, you're working and you're a full-time student. So it's like not this is ridiculous. Like, do y'all wake up sometimes and be like, is this really my world? Is this really what's going on every day?
It hits me at night. Like I can barely sleep sometimes because like I'm like, okay, what's happening in Tigray now? Like I'm waiting for the next headline or like the next interview, and it's really heavy.
And sis, can I just take a moment to give you your flowers, because I look and I wake up, you guys, thank you. Y'all are the ones that remind me that there's things happening every day, because I personally, like the way my empath, like my empathy is set up, like I literally will get physically sick from like reading the articles and headlines and stories. Like it takes me so much to even get to that point where I can read or look at it. And then there's people who are like reading it and like vetting it, doing all the actual thought process before they post it, like you're saying. And it's exhausting. I'm like, no, I tried to read a couple articles and do a couple things, and I was like, I'm not built for this. I was like, I'm not. I was like, thank God that some of y'all are, and some of y'all have the stomach for it. I literally, like, kid you not, I will, if I probably do a couple panels and different things, and at the end of them, I'm always like shaken and have to take the whole day off. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, it's nuts.
Literally. It is like every article, you're like, okay, this is surely the worst it will get, right? And then like another atrocity happens, and it's just like, how much can happen before something, stops the war?
Yeah.
Be it an individual country or a force, it just needs to stop.
It's exhausting, and it's like I wanted to center like the work that actually gets done, and it's for me a lot of the times it's women. So I don't think people realize that it's you behind the screen, right? You know what I mean? Because it's especially because you're running a community page, so people forget there's a real human being behind this that is like thinking about this, running this page, putting all the work in. There's a team, because you guys have a whole team of people that are like actively working on like how do you fight a war from some, like when you're not physically there, right? So it's like a whole, like what I keep trying to tell people is like I literally am fighting psychological warfare every day. And like I don't know about you guys, but the world feels like it's gaslighting me like constantly.
Oh my god, you just reminded me, like because I work, I'm a uni student, but I work part-time, and it's just like, I only work 2 days, but going into work, yeah, and just hearing people complain about like basic COVID regulations, like, this is for your own health and safety, and you're here complaining, and all I can think about is, okay, what else are we gonna hear today? What are we gonna hear tomorrow? And you're complaining about something that's for your own good. I can't.
Yeah. It's insane. I had to have a conversation. I didn't have to. I had a conversation with a friend, and they were, they're just asking me a bunch of questions and kind of like why I've been not distant with them, but distant with other people. And I was like, listen, if I have to explain to y'all like one more time that my dad is in an active war zone and that I don't have like the patience or energy to deal with your like, not that your problems aren't real, like in your pain and that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure in your day to day, like those things are stressful. But I don't have capacity to sit here and worry about your feelings when I can't even have time to worry about my own feelings, let alone, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
Yeah.
what? Like, what is this conversation that we're having? Like,
No.
it doesn't
Like,
make sense.
I'll be zoning out. Like, I can't even have, like, when you're like just talking to people, like your friends or whatever, that are non-Habesha, that don't know anything about what's going on, like, it might sound blunt, but like, if it's not about Tigray, like,
Yeah.
at the moment, I don't really wanna, talk about anything else.
Yeah,
So,
I can
yeah.
only imagine. So I like literally also said, let me give you guys flowers. I had to take a step back from everything. Like I was like, listen, the way my mind is set up, the way my anxiety is set up, I can't keep putting myself in positions where y'all are like literally trying to make me go crazy. Like I don't need help. I was like, I don't need
There's
help.
enough people doing that.
Yeah, we got enough people irritating us on a daily basis. And I keep trying to tell them too. I was like, do you guys think like activism is sexy or something? Like, do you guys think that we like do you feel that? Like, do y'all feel that? Like, I'm like, do you guys think this is fun for us? Like, this is like we enjoy like talking about this and like being irritated? Like, no, not at all. So, no, I commend y'all a lot. Do y'all feel like it's been so helpful for the youth at least to organize, even if it's not like you there? I don't know. For me, there's days where I'm like, damn, I really don't feel like I'm making an impact. But I think even just like the youth being able to come together and like find community and like bond with one another is still like to me really impactful and important. Like, have you guys felt any type of relief from that? Like, how big is your group anyways? I didn't even ask.
Well, well, it all started from like the WhatsApp group, isn't it? Like, before, like, a couple months back, I would say, like, was it early 2020 that the group was created? So early 2020, I think it was like maybe 60 people, 80 people in the GC. Yeah, and now there's like, if I don't even know how much it is on now, but I remember seeing it at maybe like 300
Wow.
people, and this is a WhatsApp group chat. I
Yeah.
don't even know all the other like branches now that have come from that, but yeah, it's a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
there's people that are working with like Omna, like people that help out with Stand with Tigray. Like, yeah, so there's so many other branches from this small, like 60, 70 people. And now there's like hundreds. So yeah, I think it's cool though. I wish like I knew, like I was into it from before. Like, because it basically just like information overload. Sometimes I'm like, like I'll get confused with this stuff, but yeah, it's just like a whole load of information at the same time. But I want to know as well, so I should be reading, confusing myself with all this information. But yeah, no, I wish we had it
No,
from earlier, but it's alright. We're
that's
here now.
amazing.
It's just like when
Mary, how's
you know that.
oh, I hate that you're both Mary. Like Like, I love it, but I hate it. Go, continue.
No, what did they chant at the protest? They're like something. What was it? United something, divided something. You have to know what I'm talking about.
I know, isn't it united we stand, divided we fall?
Yeah,
Is
something
that what
along
it is?
those lines, and that's so
Uh-huh.
true. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to link it to. But go ahead, you were gonna say something.
No, I was saying, Insta Mary was like, how do you feel like that's been helpful? Because I know for you too, because you're working, it's different. Like, because you're also working with people like who are probably a bit older, and it might be even more frustrating. Because I was just wondering what your experience is like.
With the main group or like just our group in general.
Well, because I feel like the older people in these, these quote unquote, they keep calling us youth. Like I'm pushing 30, so I'm sitting here like I'm not youth. So y'all gotta stop calling me youth. So I'm like, if for you actually being an adult, right? Like you guys are adults, even though you might be younger. Um, you still having to work like across like ABT and whoever else. So how is that experience like new to you? You're like, wow, like my childhood is it's completely done. Like
For real, it's
I
still an
have to
eye
like
opener, but
step up.
I found personally that the younger generation are a lot more active because I'm 30, so like yeah, I find
Yeah.
that the youth are the ones that are really driving this. They're really pushing it forward. So like yeah, it's made me so proud, like how inspiring and inspired the youth are. Like yeah,
That's pretty
made me really
amazing.
proud. And it's like we're all broken down into smaller groups, if you know what I mean. So it makes it easier to communicate with like your little working team and then the main group too. So you've already had the
Mm-hmm.
internal chatters, so you're just going forward with actionables or deliverables. So yeah, I think that like our group works really well in that sense. And age
No,
hasn't
that's
been like
good.
a detrimental factor at all. Like it's yeah, I think everybody's pulled their weight, and that's one thing I'll say, that like everybody knows what's riding on this. So I feel like no matter the age, everybody's just like mucked in, and yeah, they're doing
No,
their
that's
share.
dope. I literally like there's some meetings I'm like I forget. I'm like, oh wait, you're still a student, Because we'll just be giving them more work, and I'm like, wait, do you have midterms? Do you have finals? Do you have exams? Like I have to keep reminding myself, like, because you guys step up, like that 18 to 22, like step up, like like they are literally like riding for a ticket. And I don't know what the makeup is of the UK team, but most of the teams that I've interacted with have been majority women. Like majority, I'd probably say like 80% of all the groups that I see working are like majority women. So I'm like at 18, you have 18, 19, whatever, you have the wherewithal to be like, oh, I could do something about this. Let me step up and do it. You know what I mean? And I have to remind myself, like, oh, wait, just because they're capable doesn't mean that we, as their older brothers and sisters, shouldn't also be like, yo, don't forget about school. Don't forget about all these things because, like, we need y'all, like, afterwards to still be able to take care of yourself. Um, so it's been kind of amazing. What have you felt like that? Not Insta Mary, Merch Mary. At your age, like, what did you even have a thought of like, oh wait, I'm too young, I should let the old people take care of this, or were you just like, no, I gotta get up and do something?
Nah, if anything, I was like, right, like, we have to do something. I don't want to say because they didn't, but like, if like, you have to look back to understand what's going on now. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
now it needs like a fresh pair of eyes. And it's not even like your age bracket. I'm talking about like even older.
Older,
Yeah.
yes, that's what I was referring to.
So like older. So nah, I don't think I ever did. No.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all cut differently. This is what I'm like, thank you Jesus, because I think at 18, like there was only a handful of us that really wanted to do anything, but we were just like, nah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we were just, instead of like taking over for the adults like back then and like really building the community, like, is literally, I felt like probably, um, 10 years ago. Oh my God, that makes me feel like that makes me feel my age when I really think about that. Like 10 to 5 years ago, there was always like, okay, let's start something, and then it would fail, and then we'll start something, but like you'd only have so much motivation from people because they just would get tired. And now I'm like, okay, but then I'm seeing y'all, and y'all just step up, and I'm just like, okay, this is nice. Like I'm like, I'm happy. I'm glad that everyone is participating. And I want to say this now. It's like, honestly, I don't know if Mary, if you feel this, but there's days where I'm exhausted. And if I see like one of the youth come up to me, like the 18, 19, sometimes even the 16-year-olds, and they're asking me questions and they're asking me how to help, it's like, oh, okay, I gotta get up. Like I gotta show up. And it like makes me stronger too. Cause I'm like, how can I be scared, or how can I be sitting back and not doing anything when I got people behind me ready to work, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so I want to shout y'all out for that. Um, so talk to me more about what have been kind of the biggest lessons for you all, or the big wins, things that you might be working on. How's the merch going? Like I'm just curious of what it's like in the UK.
Ooh. Do you want to talk about some of the campaigns?
Yeah, so like we've currently got a campaign on for Women's International Women's Day. So we're trying to highlight key women within the movement, both pre this war and like current war. So like we're looking at people from the 80s, and then also like highlighting people within the movement too. And then we've got a few more coming up, but we'll keep you guys informed. We'll share the upcoming events and campaigns.
No, you guys are doing great.
The letters. Is
that so that's an ongoing campaign. So like we're sharing letters to loved ones, or like to Tigray in general. And if anyone would like to share it, just DM me, and yeah, we'll share it anonymously.
You guys had I remember early on you guys had I think there was like a donation set up. I can't remember the details about that. Do you want to like tell people about that too?
Yeah, so originally it was just to support like Tigray in general, like be it whether it was Sudan or Tigray, but with the war like continuing, it's kind of become urgent for Tigray. So we've shifted focus, and we're just trying to support as many people as we can in Tigray. Yeah, we're still running the fundraiser, and we've also got the merch to help with that as well. So that will be like an ongoing stream. And thank you to everyone for your support.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Shout out to everyone. Like
yeah. No, it was dope. I think I had saw like pictures of like supplies making it to Sudan or something. I don't know. At this point, like they all blurred together. But I distinctly remember like the UK and like some type of donations, and I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, look at y'all just getting it done. Like, you know, I was like, this is what I'm talking about. That's exhausting.
I think you might maybe talking about the GoFundMe.
Because there was a GoFundMe, right? There was a GoFundMe, and I felt like I don't know if you guys did the clothing drive or if I'm mixing that up with another city.
Yeah,
but
we did. Yeah, that was that. I think it was at December times. Yeah, they did that. They sent it. I think twice they did it. Yeah, so it's been received and all that. But yeah, we have that. We literally have too much clothes. Like there's still some left over, and they're still packing and sending. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I remember early on a couple of those conversations, because I think the audience, they always, they might not always know, but they're when I tell you the meetings, the phone calls, the coordination, because it wasn't just like the states were coordinating. It was like people were calling like globally, like, how are you guys doing this? Who are you working with? Whatever the case is. And again, women led, women run, and organized and put together. And I was just like, y'all are dope. Like that's literally what I just kept thinking in my head. I was like, y'all are dope. Because like I just was amazed at how that was put together and like accomplished, and to see it like actually reach. Because I think a lot of our work, when I don't know about you guys, but I feel like sometimes I'm shouting at people who aren't listening. like tweeting and like doing things on social media sometimes doesn't feel tangible. So like when you do something or you see something like that and it gets done and it's tangible and you're like, okay, I can tell we're making a difference, you know?
I think that's been one of the hardest things for us because we're in lockdown. We can't really do anything in person. We've had 2 live protests, which were successful. But I mean, if we weren't in restricted times, like we would have been able to donate so much more and like fundraise so much more. The presence would have just been a lot bigger from Europe, I'd say.
Yeah, but don't sell yourself short, because I think that the fact that you guys have been able to be creative and like work around that and still like, instead of just giving up, because I think a lot of people would just give up, is like continue to try to go around the obstacle. Like I don't know, I was telling this to a friend yesterday. I was like, yo, if somebody puts a wall up in front of you, you either figure out a way to climb the wall, you dig a hole and get under it, or you go around, but you don't stop. You don't just look at it and just stop. And I feel like y'all two, and just the whole TYN team, like I literally give you all the flowers, all the love, all the respect, because some of these other countries, cough cough, have not had to deal with the COVID restrictions that we have dealt with.
Sorry,
And
I'm just gonna try to turn around.
no, go ahead. They have not dealt with like the COVID restrictions we have dealt with, and have they don't, I think that they underestimate the like the just everything that we have to deal with to even get to this place, you know? It's exhausting.
Well, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, sis. Y'all in the car. Okay, listen. I understand. I understand. No, it literally blows my mind. I COVID 2020, the pandemic was already exhausted. We were tired, we were fed up, we were sick, all of these things. We're still in a pandemic, aka panorama, I think is what they started calling it. And it is a joke. Like it is literally a joke, and we're still sitting here trying to get things going and popping. Oh, Mike says shout out to Texas. Literally, Texas last week. Was it last week? I don't even know. Did you guys see though what was happening? Oh, you best mom. When I tell you
What
I
was
want to move
happening
to
in
the
Texas?
UK,
The snow.
Oh,
it was a crazy, like I don't even want to call it a snowstorm. Like that was the craziest thing I'd seen. They didn't have power, electricity. Their Senator Ted Cruz is a joke and like left to Cancun while his state was literally like in collapse and was nowhere to be found. And so I, like I say, like I commend everybody, because this world is nuts, and somehow we're still getting up and fighting for our people. So like I'm extremely proud. Yeah, Mike said snowstorms, power outages, busted pipes. Like when I tell you, them people, oh my god, I didn't even realize people had died. But
Oh, wow, I didn't realize. I just
yeah,
saw the snow.
yeah, because I
yeah,
remember seeing to go link up. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be off for a while." That's how I knew about it. Otherwise, I
yeah,
wouldn't know.
because the power and everything. Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. So like I can only imagine in the UK what that looks like. I saw some footage and it was like the streets were not crowded. There weren't people outside, and I was like, I'm sure that's jarring for like a city like London that's usually busy.
Yeah, definitely. But still, people are still going out. Still going out.
Sis, we like they don't care.
They don't. They don't.
They
I'm
really
just.
don't care.
I hear that like at work, I always hear that people come in and they're like, "Oh, I just got the vaccine. You should go and get it." Like they think that because they've got the vaccine now, like yeah,
That's a
like they
free
can
for
go
all
out as
and they
if
could just
COVID
go
doesn't
anywhere.
exist.
Yes, okay, let me not. The whole point, I have a lot of thoughts about this, obviously, but the whole point being is that despite all of the nonsense that we have to put up with, like instead of finding excuses, you guys are finding solutions.
Yeah.
And I think that's not for nothing. Like that's a big like accomplishment, and I don't think that we ever really take the time to give ourselves a pat on the back for that. Like you guys could have quit at any point. You could have just not started. Like honestly, I think everyone assumes that like this is you have to do this. You don't, because look at all the people who are not helping, who are not saying things, who are not participating, who get to live their day-to-day life and like, they're having a good old dandy time while the rest of us are like trying to keep our mental sanity and advocate for our people and like put programs together, thinking about like how to show up for ourselves and for our families and for the community. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot, it's exhausting. And so I don't take that lightly. And I want to, if no one else has said thank you to you in the last 4 months, I want to make sure that I do that publicly, and like it's recorded and it's saved, and it's like whenever you need to pick me up, you can go back and like rewatch it, because you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and I definitely commend y'all. Like this is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. Yeah.
It means a lot. It means a lot. But I
No
feel like that's
problem.
like the least we can do. Like us advocating online, that's literally the least we can do. Like there are people back home that are too scared to speak out about what's happening. Even people in Addis Ababa, like I know, in comparison, it's nothing to what's happening in Tigray, but it's repression at the end of the day. And like people reaching out and saying, like thank you for what you're doing, and like speaking up for those who can't speak up for themselves means a lot, because like you get caught up in what you're doing and you kind of just forget, you just run on like article to article. Well, in my case anyway, like I'm just running on steam, like so when you hear like a thank you at the end of it, literally for me it makes my day, because it's like, so at least like our voice is getting heard and people are more aware than they were yesterday.
Yeah, it's hard. I have to keep putting it in context for people. I'm like, whenever I enter situations, because I'm just naturally a person that gives grace, and I'm just a super understanding, and it's just I'm naturally just empathetic all the time. And I have to preface conversations that I have with people now. I'm like, listen, if I get snappy, if I get whatever, like I also need you to understand that I'm still a human being, like, and I still have feelings and thoughts and things that I need to take care of for myself. And so me advocating for my people, like I need you to also remember that I'm a victim too. Like I'm experiencing trauma at the same time that I still have to advocate for my people, because nobody else is doing it for me. So yeah, I just like, I know that was kind of like I don't know if you guys find that useful, but I have to like preface all my conversations that way, so that I remember that I'm also suffering, and that like I need to take a break and take care of myself. And I hope that like y'all can like, give yourself a little bit more grace too, as we navigate this, because I don't think any of us expected 4 months into this to still be going hard like this.
No. Yep.
Yeah.
I was literally having go back to the the GoFundMe's in the bio. Go and press that, donate 1p, £1, £5, whatever you have. Go and donate. But so like the GoFundMe, we've got, I think you might have seen the pictures. It's if you go on Tigray London, or even on TYN, even on Melee's Instagram, like we've got some pictures there. But like we were just speaking about like the ways that we're having to actually go about getting the aid. That's like, why do we even have to think about getting somebody the medicine that it's life or death type of medicine? Why are we thinking about how to like get it in? This should be stuff that's there and readily available for them to get. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Just like what you're saying, like 4 months and we're still here. We're still here, and you're still asking me what's happening in Ethiopia or what's happening in Tigray.
Right, like Google doesn't exist. I'm like, oh, like I have to look at people like, and I get it. Like I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like I feel more paranoid when people ask questions. I'm like, are you asking me to troll, or you like genuinely just don't know what's going on? Yeah, like I'll be like, oh, okay, you know what? I don't know if you're trying to raise my blood pressure or if this is a moment. This is too much. So I had to like I have to make sure I say that. Susie said, "What it do? What it do? What it do, Curly Sue?" Um, it is just, yeah. So I hope that people really take that away. Like y'all are really doing a lot, and it's amazing. And I appreciate it because you know what gives me comfort? I know, Insta Mary, you were saying like you're still having trouble sleeping. Um, like early on, I think because of my connections, like, being able to talk to you, Mary, being able to talk to our counterparts in Australia and like Italy and like all these other places, Canada, um, I'm just like, oh, well, let's just be smart about this. When I'm sleeping, Australia is awake, right? Like, so, like, I'm like, okay, when I go to sleep, y'all are awake. So y'all got it. Y'all gonna hold it down. You gonna still be with the Twitter fingers. You gonna still be posting. And I feel like in my mind, I have made it like everybody's taking a different shift. Like, so like daytime, our time, like we're going hard, and then daytime, your time, you're going hard, so that like we can try to find some type of balance where we're at least in my mind, it gives me a balance of like, okay, I know somebody else is still working on this. Like even if I take a break and like go to sleep, like there's a whole nother team in a whole nother country that's still working on this. Like, have you guys thought about that, or is it just me? Is that just
I
my
haven't
mental hack?
I haven't thought about it like that, but it's a good way to think about it. Like, because sometimes you kind of feel like if you don't tweet now, like, what have you kind of done? You know, and like not for the day because like we're so active anyway
Yeah.
as a group, but like what have you done
Mm-hmm.
for like that hour? That's the way like I kind of like rationalize it. So yeah, I think it's a good logic to have, but I still feel like, oh, I want to know what's going on, you know, like where it's not being as reported as much as it was in the early days of the war. I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just want to know what's going on. I want
Yeah,
constant updates. Like I want to know like if it's gonna end soon. You know, it's really hard. Like, yeah,
it
it's
is.
hard trying to find that balance, I think.
Yeah, that's just been my mental trick because I figured I was like, after a couple phone calls, I was like, go to sleep, come, wake up, and somebody else would just update me, like, So I was like, oh, okay, that's everything that happened while I was asleep. Okay, cool. And then like I would, go back to doing what I was doing, and then they'd call me in the morning, and I'd be like, oh yeah, so this group is doing this, and it's like I get why our parents, you know, we always called our parents like we're saying they're gossiping, but I think they probably like adopted this from like all the other wars. I know it sounds crazy to even say like it's a normal statement, but I I feel like we all are communicating and operating like our parents do, where we're calling each other, we play grapevine, we like figuring out what's happening with everyone at all times, and it's like we really just recreated our whole culture virtually.
Yeah. 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 And our parents are
That's so.
they're jumping on the wave too.
Literally. Like,
It's beyond me. Have you guys found cousins? I have found cousins. I didn't even know.
Yet to. But I know I've heard of people that have found like family through this as well though. Yeah. Like
Bro, when I tell
like
you,
my sister my sister's godmother, she was telling me the other day, she was like, yeah, like I just found two of my cousins that I forgot which country she told me, but like we just found out that we're related through this. I'm like, oh, damn.
this is what I'm saying, to the point where I've been working with some of y'all for like 3 months. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't see, which I prefer to keep that way because y'all already talk to me and ask me a lot of questions. So some things behind the scenes is really good. I understand why y'all like it back there. Um, Literally working with people for 3 months just to find out like, oh, our parents were in Sudan together, oh, they used to live on the same street, oh, this is so and so's cousin, and then like all these different connections. I'm like, you mean to tell me that 30 years later another war happens, and yet and still I'm connecting to the same people that you connected to when you left and you were in refugee camps? Like, I still haven't
It's
wrapped my mind around that, but does that not like sound like Inception to you? Like what?
it's right. Yeah.
It's blind,
And we're
mind,
probably yet
mind
to find
boggling.
more people like that.
uh,
This is look at this is gonna be my my last plug. If you guys don't get DNA testing, I'm fed up. At this point, I'm fed up. We need it. I'm telling you, we all have to do DNA testing because this is just it doesn't creep you guys out. It creeps me out. Maybe I'm just like losing my mind.
Yeah,
But
like imagine this didn't happen, and like how are we gonna get married? How are we gonna, if we're still discovering more family members?
no, for real, because so Instamary, you read these words a lot, right? So I think you get desensitized to them. But have you really sat and thought about what it means to be internally displaced? Like what that actually looks like to that person, and then imagine not having a phone, not having internet connection. Like how do you actually find your family?
I haven't as much, I think you've literally hit the nail on the head because you become so desensitized to it. It's more like the anger that you feel. So I couldn't really imagine it because like I feel living in the West, you kind of take it for granted. Having your phone is a luxury. Seeing your parents on a regular is a luxury. Going to the shops is a luxury, be it whether you like the weather of the country that you live in or not. So like, yeah, it's more the anger, I think, that I feel. Like, why is it happening? These people don't deserve it. They're innocent people. But like when you sit back and, as you said, when you take a step back and you think about it, it's like it is really sad and it's heartbreaking.
Because I just think like, what does that mean? Like, if I'm, because I don't know about if you guys have started thinking here. It's just like something that helps me feel better is thinking about how to rebuild. Like I was telling my friend the other day, she's like, "Why are you focused on that?" And I was like, "Well, part of it for me is like manifestation. So if I start thinking and talking about rebuilding, like I am like literally like telling the universe I do not accept an answer where my people don't exist and my country doesn't exist. Like I'm like this no. I'm like I will not. I like will refuse that option that like um Tigray will be gone because I like that just I can't like that's not an option that exists for me. So I'm like when this is over because I'm manifesting and I'm speaking that into existence, I'm thinking about like what does it look like to rebuild a country? Like what did our parents do and what can we like build on and make better, you know? And as I'm thinking about that and I'm thinking about the people, I'm like, what does it actually mean to be internally displaced, right? Like, what does that actually mean to be refugees? And like, how do you recreate a life for yourself? Because it's not just like things go back to normal, right? So, I've just thought about that in that context where I'm like, what does that actually mean? So like even though I kind of joke about the whole DNA testing sometimes, I'm really like, no, we should actually really do that because it would help everyone be able to like reconnect and find their families and like maybe they, can choose a new area they want to live or I don't know what that looks like, that part of it. But I think at least like there are things like that that we can do and that we can like plan for. So that's like a whole nother tangent. But I just been thinking about that lately in the work that we're doing and as we're advocating and like trying to end the war. I just want to start like imagining and like using that manifestation to be like, well, what world do we want to create? You know?
It's funny that you mentioned manifesting. Yeah, I literally spoke about this on one episode that is yet to come out. But
On the new Gen podcast, you better plug your
yeah.
shit, sis.
But like I was talking about like, how we like 100% without a doubt believe that like when we say can awatina like it's not
Mm-hmm.
good like I fully believe that just by saying that alone, like that's
Mm-hmm.
it, like we've won. Like
Yeah.
because they always like before it was like what was it it's long and bitter, now it's short and it's bitter, but
Mm-hmm.
it's always like we're always gonna win for certain, for sure. I
Mm-hmm.
fully believe it. Just that alone, yeah, has got us through the time before, and it's gonna get us through now as well.
I
But
think that's
yes,
like a woman's hope. Do you guys feel that? Like have you guys been like, I don't know, for me, I've been watching my mom and like imagining my grandmas, you know, and imagining the women there. And I'm like, that's what they do. Like, despite everything around them being trash, like I feel like the one thing the women have always done is like hope for a better day and like speak it into existence. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do our moms do all day? They be praying, like they be like
Yes,
praying.
yes.
They are like repetitive as hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got to talk to my grandma, and all she kept doing on the phone was praying. She was like, and comments and like, you know how they just start like they just keep
Mm-hmm.
praying. And I'm like, I think that's what we learned. We just say it in English. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what they do all day long. And I just look at them and I'm like, wow, you are literally the pillar of grace and like strength and all of those things that I've ever wanted to be. And I think at my not big age compared to my grandma, obviously, but at my big age, I'm like, oh, I think I'm finally like understanding that I am you. Like I have wanted to be you for so long that I have finally turned into you. Because look at everything that we do now. It's like we have officially turned into our moms.
Yeah. For
It is a beautiful thing. Okay, let me not go too far down memory lane and just be in everyone's. Sorry, y'all. Today is one of those days. I have been home now for 2 weeks, so home meaning like with my mom. So context for everyone. I the rest of y'all. I hope I don't know. I know everyone's situation is different, but for me, the last 3 to 4 months, not only was my dad in a war zone, but my mom lives 2 states away from me. So I was like, yeah, I was with family and community and everything in Denver, but I think there's just something different where like for me, I felt like I was like walking a tightrope, like a balance rope, and I'm like, yo, can I get one parent? Like, can I get one? Like, this is just ridiculous. So I finally flew home to be with my mom. So that's why I'm getting a little bit better, but I don't know how people have been dealing with this like without that foundation because it's like literally exhausting. But I'm what has happened is I've been looking at my mom every day and I'm like, "Oh, I turned into you." Like, oh shit. Like this is real. Even when we're like apart, we'd still be in sync. Like she'd call me and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Drinking Bunna." She's like, "Oh, I'm drinking Bunna too." I was like, "Oh, I just like see that like we really are moms. I don't know if you guys do that too, but like um that's been what's helped me get through all this. And then like seeing women like you and like what everyone's doing across the pond, I'm like, wow. It doesn't matter. I could have lived in London. I could have lived in any other place. If I would have been with Tagato, I'd still I feel like essentially be doing the same thing.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
both our parents and us. Like my mum will sometimes, she'll come home from work and she'll be like, "Did you tweet today? Did, did you post today? Did you share this? Did you see this? Are you in this Zoom meeting?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, yes."
I know. They're so funny. Like they're like, did you see this? Like every time my house like has YouTube on the TV, on the big TV, and they're like watching news. They're
Yeah,
like on Facebook all day.
always. Yeah,
Like, you didn't see this report? They're like showing me everything. I'm like, I don't even need to go on social media because somebody will tell me. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. For real.
somebody will inform me at this point. So that's what I figured. When people are like, did you see this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure somebody will have sent it to me, messaged me, whatever. I will get the information eventually. But no, they're pretty dope and amazing. But that leads me into kind of our closing question that I love asking everyone now is what like thinking about all this and what you're doing, and maybe this isn't where you thought your life would be. I know for me, it's definitely not where I thought my life would be. But what's the legacy you hope to leave on the world? I know it's a big question.
Big question. You go first.
I think it's when like the war's over and like the people in Tigray can look back and think that, you know, there were people actually fighting for us. Like I think it's, yeah, I'd like people to think that, you know, we were a force of change and like the community got together and like collectively I think we've been pretty effective. So I'd like to think people would look back and think that we're effective in fighting for change.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. Okay.
I think yeah, she pretty much said it.
Okay, but
Definitely.
think
I,
about your personal life too.
oh, I would like to get my degree. I have this personal debate all the time, and like even with my friends, we'll just be going back and forth. Like, I would be more useful if I actually finish my degree to grow. Like, should I finish my education or should I continue? Like, but both is as important. But yeah, like I just wanna have said like I actually helped in this way, whether it was the Twitter campaigns or donating or like again plugging the GoFundMe, please donate
You better
at
go
To Grow
ahead.
London, the merch page, like, and even that, like having that, like raising all this money is not only for now. Like we're all seeing all the pictures that are being posted. Like people are like literally bombing one factory, or you're destroying like hundreds of people's jobs and livelihoods. So like all of that, like it's helpful for now and even for later. So yeah.
No. It's hey, this question's a big one. I know everyone's always kind of like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know is a good answer too. Just means you got some digging to do, you know? So I always try to tell people like, I don't, this is not a trick question. I want to plant seeds. And this is my favorite part is always get to end. Is I want to tell you all that I think I've said it throughout, but I want to like make sure it's the last thing I say is you've already made an impact. Um, you've already, whether we see it in our lifetime or not, have like inspired the next generation to continue, um, to step up. I don't know if you guys have younger siblings or, younger cousins, but whether they tell you or not, they're watching you and they're taking it in and they're gonna be inspired to like step up and do what they can. So I want to tell you that you've probably already reached that goal for yourself and not realized it because you're just so in the day to day and just like keep moving and keep pushing. Um, but if no one ever tells you, like I said, one, thank you, and two, your legacy is already written. So I
Thank
don't know.
you, thank
You
you,
guys are
thank you.
amazing. No problem. I'm excited to continue to see you guys work and whatever y'all know, send it to me. I'll always repost. I'll always reshare whatever you guys need. Maybe not on every. I'll repost everything, but don't invite me to every panel because I do still need to have a life and things. But I definitely just want to see you guys grow and see what happens after this war and like after we're not on in a pandemic and you actually can like do things that you want to do. It's gonna be amazing. And yeah, that's it for me. Is there anything last thing that you guys want to tell the people while you have the platform?
No, I just read that someone was like, "Love your hat." So
Yeah.
let me show it properly. So it says to grow a day, and it has our little our region. And then I have this jumper that says Mandina, like a Jerganina. So like you
Okay.
can find all of this stuff at Tigray London. That's the page that we're selling all the merch on. There's Tigray flags. There's what else do we have? Oh, there's Tigray underscore foundation as well. And I forgot to mention this before, but she's actually like distribute the stuff, whatever money that she's raised, she's actually found a way to get into the camp and help out the
Okay.
people there. So yeah, she's got like necklaces, caps, hoodies and stuff like that too.
You said
So
Tigray Foundation?
yeah, Tigray underscore foundation. Yeah,
Okay.
that's her page. So check. She's also part of TYN. But
Perfect.
yeah, check out her page. She does like lives and stuff. She recently did an event with like big singers like Ephraim. Who else was on it? I forget, but big singers like you would know, like they're celebrities, so you would know their
Yeah.
faces. Like, and she does fundraising events with them. So yeah, check out her page and check out Tigray London if you want to purchase anything. Like we ship worldwide, or if you don't want to purchase anything, you can donate whatever. Like every penny helps. So please, 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 we are getting the stuff into Ma'ala, and like we're attempting to go like reach out into the other towns now as well. But yeah. So if you like the hat, go get it at Tigray London. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yes. The audience, y'all got pages to follow, okay? If y'all ever were wondering what it's like to be a Tagadu in the UK, like make sure you are following their pages, TYN, Tigray Youth Network, Tigray London, that's Tigray LDN, and then Tigray_Foundation as well. Like I'm telling you, y'all killing it out there. This is just gonna continue to go up. Honestly, I have the most confidence in Tigray being able to like come back stronger because I see the work that we're already putting in, and we have, like I said, we have all these obstacles in front of us. So watch when the obstacles are out of our way, it's a wrap. Like it's a wrap for everybody. We come out like even stronger. So thank you, ladies, so much. I know I had to push back a couple times, and you guys were so understanding because I needed that time with my family. So I really, really appreciate y'all. Everybody in the audience, thank y'all. Everybody have a good night for y'all. It's afternoon for me, so I'm gonna go back to my day. And yeah, thank you all, everybody.